Hello, coffee lovers, and welcome to the God Country Live Video Podcast. Every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And now, live from Seguin, Texas, and other places around the world, your host, Jose Roberto Alanis Jr.
Hello, coffee lovers. Jose with Third Day Coffee Seguin. It is 1900. That means it's time for God Country Coffee. We have an amazing guest tonight that I know you're just going to get all sucked into. He's got a great story. He's got a journey that he's been on that has not been easy. Before we get into the actual meat of the podcast, a couple of things. We will be out tomorrow at the Kingsbury Aerodrome for the annual fly-in. And we will be serving coffee, hot coffee early in the morning. We'll be doing iced coffee. We will not have the ambulance there because we didn't finish it. But there was some things we just couldn't avoid this week and last week. Something too is we're coming up on 1 year of JC's suicide. And I am not afraid to talk about it. I think we need to have more conversations about it because there are too many men and women, there are too many children that are taking their own lives. So during the podcast, you will see the 988 number scrolling across the bottom of the screen. That doesn't matter if you're military or if you're a veteran or if you're a first responder or you don't have any affiliation with any of those organizations. You're just an individual who is in crisis. This number is a valid number for you to call and talk to people who are ready to talk to you, willing to hear. I'm always ready. My phone's always on. You can always shoot me a message on social media. I am ready to talk anytime that you need to talk to. And I can tell you that the only reason that I'm here today, without having lost my mind, although that's debatable, you have to ask my wife, and not at the bottom of a bottle or wrapped up in a corner unable to move, is because God saved me from it. My son was saved, and I baptized him. And I know where he's at, and I know I'm going to see him again. That being said, if you have problems, you want to talk to somebody, my phone's always on. Always. Okay. All that being said, our guest tonight is an Army veteran, and he has won 29 para-athlete medals since a terrible accident while he was on active duty. And his name is Sergeant Brian BigCountry Conwell, and I'm gonna bring him online right now. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, big guy? I appreciate you having me on, man. And thoughts and prayers with you on your anniversary with JC. Couldn't fathom where you're at, brother, but glad that you're still here and that you're out here raising awareness for suicide, not just for veterans, but for anybody who's going through a hard time. That's something to be proud of, and thanks for being that helping hand out there. We all appreciate it.
I think we all need it. I think we all learn in the military that most of the time we don't need a handout, we just need a hand up.
Yeah.
Yep. We're not asking for nothing for free, man, but sometimes we just need somebody to help us get out of the muck.
Absolutely.
So what I want to do is format of this is going to be all you. I want you to talk to us about how you grew up or where you grew up and what led you to join the military, and then talk about your military service and let it go from there.
Right on. Well, I was born and raised in Malden, South Carolina, about an hour and a half from here. My grandparents on my mother's side raised me up through to about the sixth grade. My grandpa was retired Navy, so I always had that military bug in my ear. My grandfather on my dad's side was in the Army. I got uncles and stuff. Much later on in my military career, a couple of years before I got hurt, did a lot of research and stuff on my family name, and come to find out that my family's been in every conflict that America's been in. So military's literally in our blood and been handed down through the generations. So a very long, proud tradition. I understood why I was so good at my job, why I loved it so much. It's just part of who we are. So I moved back in with my dad around the sixth grade. always an athlete, always played sports growing up. Um, Finished up high school, had a couple of kids. My first wife really didn't want anything to do with the military, so I just kind of hung around for a bit. And then '06, we joined up, went to Fort Knox for basic, Aberdeen Proving Grounds up in Maryland for our AIT, and it's kicked off our career, man. Had a blast, miss it. um, you know, I think we all at some point in time when our career is ready to get out, ready to go home. But as soon as we get here, man, it's just like, that was really, really quick. Just miss it, man. Had some great time, made some great friends, great family. Some of the most trustworthy people that you'll ever know. I mean, and you find that through working with each other. Get dependent on each other. I mean, that's the whole point of the military. We're a big ass team, big ass family. So it was a great honor, man. Definitely miss it.
How long were you in?
I was in right at 10 years before I got hurt. I joined up in July of '06 and was medically retired out October 27th, 2015. Got hurt on Fort Riley January 7th, 2014. Was going to get my guys some lunch and hit black ice, ran off a 150-foot ravine on Trooper Drive. Crushed my legs. Lost the left one above the knee. The right one between the kneecap and ankle, I got 30 screws, 4 plates, and a 10-inch rod they used to put my shin back together. Can't feel my right foot. Can't use my toes to balance. So I wear what they call an Ideo brace on the right side to help with stability and balance issues. Helps with the pain a little bit. Definitely a hell of a lot painful if I try to walk without it. But there for a hot minute, we had doctors in our ears telling us, we wasn't going to walk again, and if we did, it would, be with like crutches or a walker. Have to have some type of assistance. I was in the hospital for an entire year, so I gained a bunch of weight. I ended up being a little over 400 pounds by the time I got home. Big ass beer belly, no definition whatsoever, except for a lot of flabbiness,
Look like me.
Hey, that's happy, healthy living right there, though, too, brother. But suffered with PTSD, depression, and stuff like that, just like everybody else normally does. But mine was a little bit more darker. I didn't have a lot of people at first. My kids were still fairly young, so they didn't quite know how to mix in with the vibe or anything. Especially my daughter, she was kind of standoffish, which is understandable. Dad goes away, he's whole, healthy, he comes back, and parts of him are missing. A lot of education, for my family. I needed to do a lot of research and a lot of studying to see, both the physical and the mental aspects of being disabled before I could really get back in and have that healthy family communication. But one night, just sitting here, got a shadow box right there above my fireplace. Just looked at it and was like, this is my fault for why I'm as low as I am. I'm unhealthy. I eat crap. I don't sleep. I sit here and suck my own self-pity. And got up, taught myself how to walk, play pinball with the walls and stuff in the house, and was actually able to surprise my son on his 20th birthday. It's like, hey, man, I'm going to go use the bathroom. So I roll back in the back and throw my leg on, come walk around the corner, and the look on his face was priceless. Started dabbling in the gym a little bit, going like 1 or 2 days a week, just trying to get used to walking and being back out in public and stuff like that. And February 2021, man, I weighed myself. I was 415 pounds. Started hitting the gym 5 days a week. Changed the way I eat, changed the way I was sleeping, changed my complete livelihood routine, period. Started dropping weight. The VA turned me to recreational therapy. They introduced me to parasports, which parasports, adaptive sports, all it is sports that they adapt so that way people with disabilities can still compete. This was actually the first year they showed the full Paralympics on TV after the Olympics. So we're shooting for the 2028 games. I've won 21 medals in the last 3 years in various different competitions. I work hard, man. I train hard. My wife right here, she's my biggest fan. She can contest to getting up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning to start our day and start eating, and because we got so many calories a day, we got to eat, man. We eat anywhere between 6 to 7 times a day, just to build that muscle, build that strength up. My chair's out front, strapped to the ground, so that way all we got to do is walk out there and start throwing. It's been an amazing journey. The community is absolutely wonderful. You're around a bunch of people with different disabilities. I mean, around people that have similar disabilities. So it's a learning process. You get to learn things from other people that maybe you didn't know that can help you in your recovery. And just being there to talk to somebody, man, it's been awesome. We've helped a couple of local guys make the Charlotte Rolling Hornets wheelchair basketball team. That's been very, very fulfilling. And helping a few other people out through social media and whatnot get back into the fitness and adaptive sports to help give them a purpose and stuff like that again. That's my big thing out of all of this, man. Yeah, winning gold medals and winning medals, period, is fun, but whenever you're able to help somebody with a disability that thinks that there's no excitement left in life or really doesn't have anything to live for, but you show them this window of a broad spectrum of people to be around and sports to play and being able to go travel and stuff like this and reopen those shutters to sunny days, man, that's a gold medal every time.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna go back a little bit here because now I'm curious because I've read a little bit about you and I've talked to Robert Garcia a little bit about you, but I know it wasn't easy to get back on that road to recovery. At what point did you turn that into I got to help other people? Because it's enough to pull yourself out of that hole.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a total other ballgame, and I know because right now I'm feeling it. With suicide prevention. How did you get to that point where you're like, okay, I got to fix me, and once I start feeling better, I'm going to grab people around me and I'm going to help them move forward too. Let's talk about that.
Well, it's that's always been a part of me. I've always been that like to help other people. 19, 20 years old, man, when car clubs was the thing before Fast and Furious came out. We were holding sound competitions and car shows to raise money for people that, were sick and couldn't pay doctor bills. That's actually one of the medals on my chest is completing over 500 volunteer service hours,
Wow.
just helping the community. You go to the community, find somewhere to volunteer your time. They sign your sheets and stuff like that, turn in hours. It's always been a part of me, man. Especially after getting out of losing my leg and stuff, I was ignoring my own issues by trying to fix everybody else's issues.
Okay.
So, I mean, it helped to a point, but then again, it was like a smack in the face because I was ignoring everything that was wrong with me. So whenever something would pop up with me, I wouldn't know how to deal with it. I would just kind of fall apart, for a few days. Nobody would hear from me or anything like that. So, but after getting to the level where I'm at now, man, it's Anybody who has a disability that wants to get into adaptive sports or fitness or anything like that, all you got to do is ask. It gave me my life back. It gave me my purpose back. Led me to the love of my life. Gave me 3 more amazing kids. Gave me a whole family. Whenever you're walking out of the gym and you're seeing people this able body that's like, man, and I was thinking I wasn't gonna make it today, but I see you walking through the door, and I'm sitting here. Why not make it every day if this man's gonna come in here, no leg, brakes on the other one, and in here killing it, man? Even the able-bodied people, man, just the vibe. Whenever I walk into the gym, you can just see people that are just like, okay, it's time to buckle down. This guy's over here freaking huge as hell, with one leg. What am I doing over here with these little winky dink weights, man? It's awesome to see how much it inspires and motivates people to want to continue to improve themselves and just be happier with their life, dude.
It is so inspiring. I got to tell you a little story. My wife and I, when the war first started and the Center for Intrepid in San Antonio had just opened up, one of the first Army guys that had lost a limb in combat with an IED was over here. His last name was Ford, and we went to go do a 5K up at this area north of San Antonio. And Connie and I were like, let's just do the 2.5 because we're just gonna walk it anyway. I'm like, okay. And so we're walking, and before, like, Connie, my wife, is very blunt and very like forward, and she'll walk up to you and get in your face and go like, "What happened to you? How did you lose your leg?" And like, I would never do that to one of my brothers or sisters, right? If they wanted to tell me, I'd let them, but I would never go like, "Hey, dude, how'd you lose your leg?" And my wife, that's what she did. And so he told her the whole story, how they got blown up and he lost his leg. Anyway, we take off on this 5K that we're going to do 2.5. And we're walking, and here comes Jimmy. That's his name, Jimmy Ford. And here he comes with his leaf spring, and he just smokes past us. And we're coming up to the point where you got to take a left to do the full 5K, or you go straight and do the half. And Jimmy takes a left. And she looks at me and she's like, "Well, I guess we're not going straight, are we?" I go, "How can we? I mean, what excuse do we have?" So, just your presence in the gym has got to be inspiring.
So far, it has been, from what people tell me, man. Some people are like very hesitant to come up to me and talk because, I take it from everybody else, man. I'm freakishly big, apparently. I don't really see it until I see pictures of me standing beside other people, and then it's like, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. But it's people are scared. All the tattoos, the goatee, the whole look. I can see where I look like I may be pissed off all the time, but I'm really not. I'm very friendly and I'll talk to you and whatnot, but I don't know, it's kind of funny. Some people are like, man, I wanted to come up and say something earlier, but I didn't know how to approach you.
Well, the picture we used for the podcast, it's pretty intimidating. I don't know what you were doing at that exact moment, but it's kind of scary looking,
That picture was done before competition season this year, so I'm gonna say that's back January, February, maybe early March timeframe. I go to Gold's Gym in Huntersville. It's 24 hours. There are times that I take off and I go to the gym in the middle of the night because there's nobody there. Allows me to do a little bit of video stuff, of actually stuff that I want to do to be able to help out. And it is, man. It's an intimidation factor. I had a lot of help in adaptive sports when I first started. Everybody and their mom was coming out of the woodwork, say, "You need to go here and do this paperwork. Hey, you need to go do this competition here," and blah, blah, blah. But 90% of that's gone now because we've gotten to that point to where, okay, this guy's actually really good. He's my competition now. So, of course, you're not wanting to give your competition the heads up on certain things. So, but yeah, man, it's cool, man. I've met some really, really amazing people in the gym that's followed me on social media and just want to come up and shake hands and take pictures and stuff like that, man. It's really fulfilling to say, and being able to help people, man. I mean, even if it's just showing them how to do a proper lift, or just some focus. A lot of people don't understand what focus is whenever you're in the gym. It's one of the main keys to lifting, regardless if it's strength training or if you're bodybuilding or whatnot. But focus is one of the hardest parts to do in the gym because you're so distracted by everything else. Whether it's the music in your ears or the music in the gym or whatever everybody else is doing. But I was teaching a guy this not too long ago. We was on the shoulder machine, and he's over here trying to do both of them at the same time, which you can. But I broke it down for him. I was like, why don't you focus on one side at a time? You're trying to focus on two things at once, plus everything that's going on around you. If you stop and focus on one side and whatnot, and explained it to him a little bit more. And after he went through the workout, he had a better pump and stuff like that. He goes, I never really understood the point of focus, but now I understand. He goes, I'll be able to improve my entire workout session because now I understand what it is to focus on that body group that you're trying to work. So it's fulfilling, man. I like being able to help people, get that better lift on.
Yeah, my the employee that works for us, Micah, he's 17 years old, and he is, I mean, just addicted to working out. And I got him a gym membership. We both have a gym membership. I've only been with him a couple of times because anytime I go with him, man, I can't walk for 3 days. I haven't figured it out yet. And he thinks it's funny, but he's really into it. He's watching tonight. I know he's probably like, oh man, you gotta let me talk to that guy. Talk to us a little bit about the all the events that you do with the para-athlete games and stuff like that.
So I got my Paralympic license in shot put. That's what I compete. It's what I mainly compete in. That's what I'm trying to make the 2028 Paralympics in, is shot put. Hopefully they will give us discs back in my class. Everybody's classified due to their disabilities to make it fair for everybody. So we're hoping to get the disc back in our classification. But wheelchair basketball, shot put, disc, powerlifting, adaptive fitness, which is just another word for that gummit. It was on the freaking tip of my tongue. It'll come back to me. Adaptive fitness, it's you got 3 exercises that you have to do within so many allotted amount of time. It usually starts off with a ski pull for about 200 meters, and then you got 2 minutes to do as many Russian twist and overhead with your dumbbell stuff. It's like calisthenics to a point. But we got medals in that too, in powerlifting at the wheelchair games. There's quite a few different sports that we compete in. We do a little bit of rowing. I thought about getting into archery, but I think I'm already into enough as it is already. Well, I trained for all these sports throughout the year, but shot put's my main focus. That's if I add another sport in, that I'm just taking time away from that. I played for the Charlotte Rolling Hornets military division of their basketball team. We're waiting on our first couple of games to come up. There've already been a couple of tournaments, but nobody else's military teams decided to come down here and play us. So we haven't got on the court yet. We took second in the nation last year, and we just kind of threw that team together. It was pretty quick on the limb, putting our military division team together. But yeah, man, there's all kinds of sports. Pretty much everything that you see in the Olympics, you can see in the Paralympics.
So I have a question on the shot put. if you're doing a shot put, do you do it from the chair or do you wear your prosthetic and you have a way that you do it?
No, I throw from a throwing frame. What that is it's just a metal frame with a cushion on top. We actually take and put stakes in the ground, and then we ratchet strap the frame to the stakes. That frame does not move whatsoever. And then in my case, my frame has multiple seat belts that I take, click, and strap together so that way I don't fall out of the chair to be able to throw at full power. So it's strapped down to a chair that's strapped to the ground, man, so you don't move. I throw the disc the same way because I don't get up and spin or glide or take that leap whenever I throw. My legs just can't handle it that way.
That's really interesting, man. And I look forward to seeing some of that. So what is on the immediate future for you? Like, I mean, tell us what's going on right now and in the coming months. Like, where are we going to see Brian at?
Right now, man, just off-season training. Actually, I coach Little League basketball too. So next Wednesday, I got my draft night. I get to go draft my team. And, I always coach Little League basketball at this time because things kind of slow down pretty good. I love teaching the game of basketball anyway, man. I played basketball my whole life. Got to grow up with Kevin Garnett a little bit. Was always really good at ball. Actually gave up a 4-year scholarship to David Lipscomb University, joined the Army. But we got some pretty cool things coming up. We got 4 competitions we're already going. We're set to go to next year. Got the Army trials, Palmetto games at Clemson University. We'll be back in Arizona for the Desert Challenge. We'll be up in Minneapolis for the National Veteran Wheelchair Games. Waiting on the dates for Nationals to come out. Nationals is going to be our big one next year. So we're going up against the best in the nation. It'll be my first time competing at Nationals. So hopefully we do pretty good.
Is that like a pre-qualifier for the Olympics?
No, you always have the Nationals. So until the Paralympics come back around, you're aiming for world championships. There is a qualifier for that. So these competitions and stuff like that, they're sanctioned events, or you're trying to make your mark throws. And if you hit your marks where they have the limit set at, then you get to go to trials. And if you throw good enough at trials, then they put you on the team for world championships. The same thing for the Paralympics. The year of the Paralympics, everything that you're doing that year leads up to the Paralympic trials, which are usually down in Florida. And then you just go up against everybody. The International Paralympic Committee does have a certain standard that they want you to throw. I don't think we had anybody in Team USA throwing shot put in the Paralympics this past year. Ireland actually took the gold. They took the gold at almost 16 meters. They were just a tenth away from setting a world record. So 16 meters is like the sweet spot. We get up there, then we know we'll be able to kick everybody else's ass that walks up. We got those coming up. We got the documentary release. We're supposed to release the documentary this month, but because of the hurricane and stuff, we've pushed it back, which is cool though, because the VIP list that we're putting together is going to be pretty awesome. I was told that they are literally bringing the Hollywood red carpet to Mount Holly, North Carolina. Tickets will be going up for sale for that. Part of the ticket, part of the proceeds from the tickets actually go into the youth league, to the Charlotte Rolling Hornets. They have middle school, they have elementary, middle school, and high school players. So we're going to be donating to the youth side to help them, with their uniforms and competition fees and stuff like that. Man, our kids always could use the help. Of course, we'll have boxes and everything set up, for non-perishable goods, because there's still people out there that's going to be needing help from the hurricanes for quite some time. I know Cherokee was completely wiped out. Asheville's still hurting pretty bad. Boone's still hurting pretty bad. So being a North Carolinian and, not that far, they're just a couple hours away. So we're going to be, raise some more help that way too. Can't officially say who's coming on the VIP list, but the names that we got on there are pretty fucking amazing. Excuse my language, but it's really nice. The people who have said yes so far, we're just hopefully that their schedules stay where they are, so they are able to make it. But the VIP list is definitely going to be worth it. We got a red carpet coming out. Anybody who does get a ticket gets their dinner for free. It's going to be at Tross Brewing Company, downtown Mount Holly on March the 15th at 4 p.m. Again, I got some big things coming after that, man. Wish we could talk about those, but I've told to keep my foot in my mouth. So that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I do have a question. Where is the documentary going to be shown?
It will be on Hulu, Amazon Prime, Roku. It won't be on Netflix. I forget how the producer said it. We were like a couple of 100/10 of frame quality away from being on Netflix. But it'll be on other streaming services for people to watch.
And your website, what is your website?
That is sgtbc.com.
sgtbc.com.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the comments because I want people to be able to get a hold of it. And I assume that everything we're talking about will be on your site at some point, right?
Yes, there will be at some point. My Instagram page is one of the best pages to kind of keep up with certain things. It's Instagram at SGT BigCountry. I am verified on Instagram, so if I don't have the blue mark beside my name, then that is not me. I know some people have reached out, asking how they could help out and stuff like that. Going to grab some merch. Always helps. Not only are you helping me out, but you're helping a veteran-owned business, Really Designs. They've been doing my merch for a couple of years now, so big shout-outs to them. They do an amazing job. All my sponsors, man. If you're not working with Rob Garcia, then you're just in the wrong period. That's the best PR man out there. I'm shitting you not, man. That man's had me on TV, newspapers, magazines. This man is a mastermind, and the work that he does for his other clients is it's unreal, man. He's just really good at what he does.
He is amazing. I'm also with Ginger and David on really question mark designs. They're amazing people. I've actually met with them in person, and yeah, Robert is legit, man, when it comes to PR, man. I mean, he just knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave you the last question here, and I just want you, if you could tell people who are listening, I will say that our podcast does much better on Amazon, people downloading it and listening to it in their cars than we do on the live video stream. And I'm perfectly fine with that because the message gets out no matter what, right?
Right.
But if you were to tell other people who maybe have recently had an accident and lost a limb, or maybe they're just recovering and their direction is not clear, like what advice would you give those folks moving forward?
Number one and first and foremost is be patient. Be patient. You're not, some people are lucky enough to have a sound limb after they lose another one. I see so many people with their other leg is just perfectly fine. That's not the case with me. Just to be patient, learn what you can, take baby steps on getting back up. If you're trying to walk, or if you're trying to learn how to use a prosthetic arm, or maybe it's vision impaired, or whatever the case may be, just take your time and don't give up, because it's going to be rough and it's going to be hard. You're going to have days that you just want to give up and you're just like, screw it. I'm tired of failing. Failing is a part of the process. You're just learning how not to do something again. You didn't learn how to walk in 2 days whenever you were a baby. You're not going to have to learn how to rewalk, within a couple of days again. And be ready for a lot of questions when it comes to people on the outside. Some people just have to be, hey, what happened to you? Please tell me, da 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 da. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes we're just not in the mood. We've had a bad day, and you just politely saying, today's just not the day, sir or ma'am. I appreciate you wanting to know, though, because people are just generally curious. People are going to want to open doors and stuff for you. Don't get upset at them. They're just trying to be polite. Seeing physical disabilities is not common in the civilian area. You know, uh, I had a bad experience with American Airlines on the way out to San Diego for the Service and Sacrifice Gala. And just one of those moments. The teller was not paying attention to what he was doing, booked me on the wrong flight at the wrong time, didn't put me in the right seat. And I just politely asked him, I was like, hey, man, this guy jumped out of line. Can you please pay attention to me? You got my stuff in wrong. And he took offense of it and threatened to move me to another airline. But the simple fact that, that he thought he had power over me because I'm disabled into a wheelchair, you're going to run into people like that too. Just be calm, be patient, learn what you can, appreciate the people who's standing there trying to give you a hand, because they didn't have to do so. They didn't have to choose to open up that door or to carry your bag of groceries or open, whatever the case may be for you. So always be appreciative, because there are going to be people out there that want to help. And then there's going to be people out there that you run into, after you're dealing with this for a while, that are brand new to their injuries. So pass the knowledge on. Knowledge is half the battle, like they used to say back in the 1980s G.I. Joe cartoons. Knowledge is half the battle. So pass on whatever you're learning. So that way the next person has the knowledge that you had that made your journey a lot easier.
Oh, that's awesome. You're a true inspiration, man. I mean, it's a lot. It's hard for people to come back from injuries. I've known quite a few. I used to do a lot of work at the Fisher House and the Prowess House and stuff like that, and I got to know several men that even a couple of women that got severely injured in combat, and even if they're not, it doesn't matter. The end result's the same. The guys that I know, they struggled. They struggled to get back on their literally a proverbial on their feet. And the one friend of mine, he same kind of like you, like he lost one leg, and the other leg is got more metal in it than my car does. And he lost most of one of his hands, and he's got a little robot that that works the fingers. And it took him a while, man. I remember because we would take him fishing and stuff, and man, he would get frustrated, and get I don't need anybody to help me. I got this. And sometimes you just gotta let him. You just gotta, hey, okay, we're here. That's it.
Yep.
But from the outside looking in, we also got to pay attention that sometimes, that individual is not looking for help, and we have to respect that too.
Yeah, and my wife runs into that because sometimes I get so irritated with myself when I do certain things like cooking. I can still cook like hell, but I make a mess every damn time now. Sometimes I just get so frustrated. And my wife, she wants to help every aspect that she possibly can to make my life so much easier. Bless her heart. I don't know what I'd do without that woman. But sometimes the hard part for her is to just stand there and let me go through that little temper tantrum or whatever the case it may be for those few seconds, and then it's over with. But that's her nature, though, man. She loves me so damn much. Just I had a really, really bad anxiety attack today, and you know, all she's wanting to do is to hurry up and get home, so that way she can be here to comfort me and to love on me. Uh, but that's what happens when you find your soulmate, man. It's you're definitely never alone, and you don't ever have to worry about not having help. My wife's the best there is. I don't care what nobody says.
I'm tracking with you, brother. I got one of those at home too, man. She is definitely the rock that props me up, man, most of the time. and
Absolutely.
corrects me when I'm veering way off the rails,
Yep, she does
She's
that
like, hey, that way.
too.
So yeah, I can attest to that. Well, listen, we're going to be tracking with you. We're going to be sharing your website and pumping you up every time we get a chance to. And anytime that you're anywhere near us, if I find out somewhere close, I'm gonna drag Micah up there to visit and meet you. And so he's just really into weightlifting, man. That's all he cares about. So
I'm going to be looking into the Texas regionals if they have them this year. Some of the competitions, it's like they wait till the last freaking minute to say, "Hey, registration's open. This is when it's taking place." So sometimes it's kind of hard to fit those in. But Texas regionals is definitely one that I've had my eye on. And you mentioned CFI. I was actually retired from Fort Sam. I
okay,
attended the CFI a little bit. That's another story for another day, though.
well,
But we'll be looking for Texas regionals, man. I got quite a few people down there in Texas that's dying to come out and watch me get out there and scream my ass off when I throw a ball. So be looking
yeah.
forward to having everybody out.
Well, you got friends down here, man. At least you do now. So
Absolutely, brother.
I appreciate your time, brother. I appreciate everything that you're doing. Just keep crushing it, man. Just keep crushing it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. Big shout outs to all my sponsors out there. Thank you guys for everything that you do. If you decide to use anything, go to my sponsors page on my website, promo code BigCountry15 for everything. Appreciate everybody, man. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm gonna put you in the green room for a second. I'm gonna close this out. I'll be right back to talk to you. Just give me a
All right, brother.
second. All right. Thanks again for your time, brother.
Appreciate you.
There you have it, man. You talk about somebody who's overcome some serious adversity in his life, and he's got 21 medals, and he's looking at the 28 Olympics. Come on. Love you guys. Come see us tomorrow if you're local. Come see us at the Kingsbury Aerodrome. And like I always say, treat everyone the way God intended us to treat one another, with love, kindness, and respect, because that's all that really matters, right? Love y'all. See y'all next Friday, 1900 for God Country Coffee. Good night. God bless.